Hey everyone, thanks for coming out to this interactive map of the Ukraine crisis or Ukraine crisis, depending on where you sit. This is probably the most interesting part of power is this crisis that's been going on for years. I was actually teaching national security when this war broke out in class and it just absorbed the whole entire class. And what's so interesting, people thought Kiev was going to fall, the capital of the Ukraine right there. And Russia did a blitzkrieg into Ukraine, but they were pushed back. This red indicates areas that appeared to be under Russian control, Russian gains. This is obviously the area with the lines, 100%. You know they're going to take this area that's a little more pro-Russian than in here. But the question becomes power. What is power? So how was the Ukraine able to push Russia back and still maintain its own independence? This is quite interesting. Now, obviously, Trump failed in the first day to get a conflict resolution on this. I mean, what a surprise. But what's interesting is this is what power is about. Like Vietnam, how were the Vietnamese able to defeat the United States? A ragtag group of warriors beat, the world power. This is very interesting. So you have a lot of variables here in what defines power. You have one, allies. You have these allies. This is my disappearing pen. So allies, NATO, other countries who are nervous, throwing money towards the Ukraine. You also have what's interesting, I think, about this war is the power of language. The Ukraine has been able to use drones and use old Soviet military equipment to target with artificial intelligence certain weaponry within Russia. And by knowing the same language, they were able to use a lot of their older equipment. And the fact that the United States just happened to have a government at the time that was very supportive of Ukraine in this war was very important. And obviously, NATO is key to pushing this back. But you still see a lot of issues where Russia is advancing. And also, I think what's interesting is Russia kind of overplayed its card. It did do well, and I think it's in it for the long term because when you look at the Chechen war, that lasted how many wars in order to get the Chechen rebels under control. And then they actually had to fight the Black Widows, which were Chechen rebels' wives that were actually committing quote unquote terrorist attacks, even way up here in Moscow. So what's interesting is how long is this war? Is this just trench warfare? Because it's been going on for so long, and you see the area that it seems to have taken is decent area, but for that amount of time, is this like World War One where we're just in trench warfare? But I want to end with something also very important. Now, love Trump, hate Trump, it doesn't matter. But he did bring the fact of these, if you look over here, raw materials to the forefront of analysis. Now, I had to look a lot of this stuff up, like beryllium, and it basically is used with nuclear reactors and other stuff. So it does have a lot, iron, lithium, among other important uranium, which we all know is important. And is this what Russia wants as well? Because always, when you talked about Ukraine, it was always this is the breadbasket wheat. But then you start looking, and I think this is key in power, is that people do want, states do want these huge deposits of important mineral wealth. So this is very important on 2 points. Number one, what is power, right? Power is more than just, military might. Like we learn in Vietnam, we learn even in Nicaragua where Sandino, if you know, I talk about that ad nauseum. I lived in Nicaragua where Sandino in the 1920s was able to defeat the United States, why dictators get overthrown, et cetera, et cetera. This is very interesting. How did the military might of Russia fail in the Ukraine, at least to take over huge swaths in the capital city? So think about that in power. Two, how do minerals play an important role in this crisis? Is that what Russia's looking for? Or is Russia just looking for a bulwark against NATO? which is not stupid because remember, Napoleon and Germany invaded Russia. So Russia does have this invasion complex. And the Ukraine used to have nuclear capability. Mearsheimer said it was a big mistake to get rid of that nuclear capability because that's the only thing that would deter an attack. And more countries now, particularly with the Iranian and Israeli conflict, saying to themselves, wow, nuclear abilities are power, is power. Or whatever kind, because there's different types of nukes, as we all know. So is that what power is about? Because Russia keeps saying, don't bomb us, we have nuclear weapons. So is that the power to have in the international system, nuclear power? Very interesting things going on, and I'm excited to hear what you think.